Joining us live is the Senator Jacqui Lambie. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. So full fuel excise to be returned. It's about another 25 cents a litre that we'll be paying at the Bowser by the end of the month. Works out to be about $15 extra that people are going to have to find. It's going to sting a little, isn't it? Do you support that?
No, I actually don't support that, especially while those stage 3 tax cuts are sitting there and the politicians are happy to give themselves a tax cut in about 2 years, mate. So I have a real problem with that. Right now, the cost of living is going through the roof. Energy prices are going through the roof. I mean, people are buying chicken instead of meat. That's where we're at. So to chuck this extra $15 or $20 on them a week is just incredible. So if I was them, I'd be giving them a lot more slack. We're also going into the Christmas period. If I was them, I'd keep that going for another 6 months until we can find a way through this. But it's not pretty out there, and that's not to mention rent rises going through the roof, repayments on houses going through the roof. It's really not looking pretty out there whatsoever.
Right, but can the country afford that, though, for another 6 months?
Well, mate, I just can't see why not when in 2024 you're still intending to give stage 3 tax cuts out. I just don't understand that. It's $250 billion or $240 billion over a 10-year period that we're prepared to give some of the richest people in Australia. So I think, you might want to get your priorities right, but right now those people that are sitting on or below the poverty line are really feeling the heat.
Pensioners to get another $20 a week, that is some relief, and I suppose that just gets swallowed up by the fuel excise returning in full. What do you make of that? I mean, it wouldn't matter who was in power; it would have happened anyway because it's indexed twice a year. But your thoughts on that relief?
Oh yeah, no, that's normal indexation, and that's great. It's certainly not the relief that they need. I have to love the Labor Party, who went after the Liberal National Party for nearly 3 years, especially about New Start payments and saying that they need to go up between $75 and $150 a fortnight. And all of a sudden, all those people that went out there on social media and made a big hoo-ha out of it for that 3 years and fought really hard against the Liberal National Party have now gone into hiding, mate. I find that absolutely disgusting. So what is the Labor Party going to do to those people that are sitting below the poverty line and help them out a little bit more? Because I can tell you, the homelessness that is going out on the streets, what you can see going on with people's lives and the effect it's having on their kids is absolutely shameful. So let's see what they've got to say, the Labor Party, and what they're going to do. Right now, you can run around and do a talk fest for the next 6 months or up until Christmas and have all these roundtables going on. What we want to see is you're starting to put this stuff into action. So I tell you what, it's going to be next year it will be very big for the Labor Party on seeing whether they can transition from the roundtables and talk fests to actually putting plans into action and seeing what they look like.
Well, meanwhile, the RBA might go another 50 basis points tomorrow, Senator, and there's going to be more after that. I mean, the Greens reckon that should be paused, which seems quite drastic and probably not effective because that wouldn't affect inflation. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that pause thing works at all, but I can tell you now people are feeling the effects. We've seen a lot of our kids invest in housing through that COVID period with those. Look, there was nothing wrong with what the Liberal National Party did with giving out those $20,000 or $25,000 loans. Tasmania was also doing the same thing. It's great that our kids were given an opportunity to invest in houses, but already parents are now stepping in to help them out with those payments, mate. They go up another %, and I tell you what, God help us and God help our kids that are going to have a debt for the rest of their lives. It is really, really scary, especially if they've overpaid for housing and those house prices continue to slump. It is very, very worrying on what sort of debt we're going to leave our kids into the future. OK, debate on the climate bill begins in the Senate today. Will you be supporting it? Well, we're still waiting to see what all the amendments look like. There's no doubt about that. But we wanted some transparency out of the Labor Party. We want to know what they're going to do at a federal scale to make sure that they're giving a helping hand to the states in reducing these emissions and actually reaching that target. So we've actually asked for them to show that in budget papers. So far, they do not want to show transparency and accountability, which I find we've actually left it quite loose too, the amendment between myself and Senator Pocock. for them to work on. So these are the guys that said, you know what, we will look at your amendments, we will talk to you about those amendments, we'll discuss it. Well, we haven't seen any of that from the Labor Party as yet. A simple amendment that should be put through to put some more pressure on them to make sure these targets are reached and make sure that they're picking up the heavy load as well, not just passing it on to the states. So let's see whether or not the Labor Party is actually serious.
So your support isn't locked in yet?
No, my support isn't locked in, but I think you'll find that they've got the support, mate, between... I think Senator Pocock's been very brutally honest about where he stands on it, and with the support of the Greens, that legislation will just get through. The unfortunate thing is, because the Labor Party knows that, trying to get amendments through now is going to be really, really difficult.
So what amendment did you want?
So we just wanted the accountability and transparency at budget time to see what the Labor Party is going to do in the heavy lifting and not just pass that down to the states. Because right now they get off scot-free. They don't have to show anything, and actually they don't need to do anything. I mean, we're already heading there. We already know that. We're already heading there without putting this bill through. So it's just a fuzzy feeling day for the Labor Party where they're going to go, look what we've done. You know, but really, if that's the best they've got to offer, I'd suggest they step up another level.
But I suppose that's further than we've gone before, or a long time anyway.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, we were already heading there. Like I said, the states have been doing the heavy lifting. So what is the federal government going to do? What part of the heavy lifting are they going to actually achieve?
OK. Jacqui Lambie, appreciate your time as always. We'll talk to you soon.